All right, guys, so this is lesson 26. So I need to talk to you about something, okay? So we're not going to look at what's there yet, because before we do that, I need you to understand something that I feel like we have not spent a proper amount of time talking about, okay? So I want you to just come off to the side, and I want you to write down an example. We're going to probably do, I don't know, 2 or 3 of them. And I want you to write x plus 2 over 2. Okay, so the question is this, and I actually don't even want you to answer out loud. I just want you to think about it. The question is, can the 2's cancel? That's my question, okay? You have got to understand this, okay? Or it's going to hit you, it's going to cause problems often, okay? So here's my story, and I think I already told you the story, and I'm going to tell you the story again, okay? This is a person, this is a person, this is a person. I literally think of them as people. They're like terms, separate things, okay? So these 3 people are best friends. So if these 2 people, they're always together. They treat each other nicely. They're people, right? So if these 2 people call each other and they go to the movies, and they don't even call that person and ask that person if they want to go to the movies, is that nice? Yes or no? Is that nice? Everybody talk to me. I can't hear you. It's not nice, right? It's rude. So if you take this 2 and this 2 and you cancel those and you exclude that person, it's rude. So can you do that? No, you cannot do that, okay? Now I want you to write down a different one. I want you to write down 3x minus 6 over 9. I don't care if there's 3 best friends or 4 best friends or 7 best friends. The rule is always the same. Don't be rude, okay? Look, friend, friend, friend. Can everybody go to the movies? Talk to me. Yes. 3 goes into every single one of those. So 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 6 2 times, 3 goes into 9 3 times. So we're totally good with that one because we involved everybody, okay? 2 more things I want to talk about. 3x over 6. This one's different. The reason this one's different is because you only have one person on the top and you only have one person on the bottom. You have a term on the top and you have a term on the bottom. So does 3 go into both of those things? Yeah, there's not 3. It's not this. Look, here, here, here. It's not 3, it's 2. Why is it 2? Because there's no plus on the top separating the 3 and the x. That's just one thing. Who says, I understand what you're saying to me? Raise your hand. Okay, so can we reduce that? Yes. So 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 6 2 times, so that would be your answer right there, x over 2. Okay, who says, I understand that? Let's see. Okay, great. Now let's come back over here. Okay, so what this person did right here, just look forward and watch. They said, okay, well, I've got 3 people, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to reduce with these 2. 6 over 2 is a 3. And then I've got the plus 3 right there. And that gives me 6. You can't do that because it's rude. Okay, you can't do anything to that. Okay, so look right here. You cannot reduce this. This is actually super important. Some people go, well, look, here's a person, here's a person, here's a person. If I wanted to divide by 2, 2 goes into 6. You can't do that because the 6 is inside. So you cannot do anything. You cannot reduce the 2 and the 4 because it's rude to that person, okay? Everybody write this down. Negative 2 plus or minus 2 square root of 6 all over 4, okay? It's different. Person, person, person. Now can I reduce that? Somebody talk to me. Can I reduce that? Come on, you guys, interact here. Let's go. Can I do that? Yes, I can. Okay. 2 goes into this, 2 goes into this, 2 goes into that. So it's negative 1 plus or minus 1 square root of 6 all over 2. That is completely acceptable. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. There is one of those ones that you don't have to write. If you don't know which one it is, write it, because if you write it, you're not going to be wrong. Which of those ones do I not have to write? Come on, you guys, which one? The one where? This one or the second one? The second one, because it's multiplied by square root of 6, and multiplied by 1 doesn't change anything, so that would be your answer. Okay? Okay, let's look right here. Take your highlighter right now, okay? And we're going to go highlight, highlight, highlight. Person, person, person. Then I'm going to look right here, guys. I'm going to look at the 4, I'm going to look at the 2, and I'm going to look at the 6. I am not looking at the 3. The square root of 3 works just like a variable. Look right here. I want you to write this down. 4 plus 2x over 6. The square root of 3, do not mess with it. Don't try to pull things in. Don't try to pull things out. It's simplified all the way. Just think of it as a variable, okay? Can I reduce that? Is there a number that goes into 4 and 2 and 6, all of them? Tell me. Talk to me, guys. Yes. Okay, everybody look right here. Right here in my eyes. Everybody look here. I care about you. I want you to understand. It's important to me that when I teach you, you understand, so you're successful, you get a good grade, you can go on to the next level, you can do well in your college class, okay? When I ask you a question, I would like the courtesy of a response, okay? It's not painful, doesn't hurt you, and it communicates to me that you understand what I'm saying. So if you don't answer, then I think we're not communicating, or I don't know if you understand. Okay, so I really am asking you, out of courtesy and kindness, please respond. Okay, it doesn't hurt you to do that. Okay, can I reduce it? Everybody in the room, tell me. Yes, yes I can. Okay, what goes into all those numbers? Everybody's talking to me. A 2. Okay, 2 goes into 4 2 times. 2 goes into 2 1 time. The square root of 3 does not change. 2 goes into 6 3 times. There's my answer, and I'm done. Okay, who says I understand? Raise your hand, give me some feedback. Okay, great. Okay, question A. When you do this, the first thing you do is you take that 10 and you try to pull out pairs. If I break down 10, I get 2 and 5, no pairs. So then I say, here's a person, here's a person, here's a person. Can I divide 5 into all of those numbers, yes or no? No. Why not? The 10 is in and not out, okay? So that you can't reduce it, okay? So cannot reduce, that's what I'm going to say. All right, next one. 10, no pairs, okay? Look, person, person, person. Can I reduce it all 20 whatever of you? Yes or no? Yes, you can. Okay. 3 and 6 and 12. What goes into all those guys? 3. So this is 1 plus or minus 2 square root of 10 all over 4. Okay. This is a big thing. Everybody look right here. Is this okay to drop the 1? Talk to me about that. No. Because the 1 is added to the 2 square root of 10. So if I have 5 apples and I add 1 apple, have I changed the number of apples? Yes. So you have to put it. If it's multiplied by 1, 5 apples times 1, I still have 5 apples. Doesn't change it. Okay? So that's your answer right there. Okay? Question C. Okay, first thing we're going to do is take that 8 and we're going to break it down. So 8 is 2 times 4. And 4 is 2 times 2. So these two 2's come out as a single 2. So you have negative 2 plus or minus 2 square root of 2 all over 20. Okay, all I did is simplify the square root of 8. Now I want you to look. Person, person, person. I am not looking at the number inside of the root. I'm looking at the number in front of the root. Can I reduce, yes or no, guys? Yes, I can. 2 goes into everything. So it's going to be negative 1 plus or minus 1 square root of 2 all over 10. I would absolutely give you full credit for that answer. It's a little awkward, but I would absolutely give you full credit. What's awkward? The 1. Which one? The second one, the one in front of the square root. So I'm going to get rid of it. I know I don't have to write it, and I'm totally good. Okay? All right. Solve this. Okay, so this is a review from last time. Step number 1, get a 0 on the right-hand side. So everybody go 3x to the second minus x minus 7 equals 0. This is a review from last time. Now we're going to factor it. So it's going to go to 3x and a plain x. Don't forget your equals 0. Signs are different and I'm subtracting. And my only options are 7 and 1. So guys, if I put the 7 there and the 1 there, then I'm going to get 21 and 1, which subtracts to give me 20. And I'm not looking for a 20, I'm looking for a 1. So then I say, okay, I'm going to switch them. So I'm going to put my 7 there and my 1 there. So that's going to give me a 3x and a 7x, which subtracts to give me a 4x. So it doesn't work. It doesn't factor. Okay? So how in the world are you supposed to solve that if it doesn't factor? Somebody tell me. What do? The quadratic formula. Exactly right. Good. Thank you. Okay, so everybody write x equals. Everybody in the room, start telling me the quadratic formula. What is it? Negative b, write this down. Keep going, please. Plus or minus, keep going. Square root of b squared. Keep going. Everyone should be writing it down. What do I put here? Minus 4ac. Keep going. All over, meaning the line goes underneath the whole thing, all over 2a. Okay? All right, let's do it. Underneath that, I want you to write ax to the second plus bx plus c equals 0. The a is in front of the x to the second. It's a 3. The b is in front of the x. It's a negative 1. The c is at the end. Oh, negative 1. I wrote negative x. The c is at the end. It's a negative 7. Okay, everybody write x equals. Negative b means take your b and change the sign. So the negative 1 goes to a positive 1. Plus or minus the square root. Everybody freeze right here. Okay, look right here. Do not write this. Do not write this. Both of these are going to mess you up. I promise. I've done this long enough that I know it's going to mess you up. So I don't want you to write either one of those. B squared right here, guys, is always going to be positive because everything squared is positive. So a negative 1 squared, everybody tell me what that is. 1. That's what I want you to write. So I want you to do the squaring of that number in your head because if you don't, you're going to put it in the calculator wrong and you're going to miss it. So let's just go straight to the number, okay? Minus 4 times a, which is a 3, times c, which is a negative 7, all over 2 times a, 2 times 3 is a 6. Okay, now I want you to look forward. I've done 2 things wrong in what I've just written. One of them is annoying, and the other one I would actually take points off of your test or quiz. Okay, someone tell me one thing that is not right on what I just did. Yeah, this 6 looks like it's only underneath the root, but it's also underneath the 1. Do you think that that is points off, or do you think that's annoying? Which one do you think it is? Guess. It's points off. It's a big mistake. It changes your numbers. So that's points off. So don't be sloppy. There's one more thing that's annoying that I would not take points off, but it's sloppy. What is it? The square root needs to carry all the way over. Good. Okay, now I want you to listen carefully to this. See this right here? All that is adding or subtracting and multiplying. That's all it is. But people mess up on it all the time. Seriously, 20% of the time, people get that number wrong. So what I want you to do right now grab your calculator and literally just put it in your calculator exactly the way you see it so you don't get that number wrong, okay, because that's silly. So everybody go 1 minus 4, parenthesis 3, close it, parenthesis -7, close it, hit enter, and I get 85. So I want you to write x equals 1 plus or minus the square root of 85 all over 6. Am I done? Somebody talk to me. What do I do? 85. Yeah, break down your 85. So 85 is 5 times something. I know that. 5 times 17. But 17 is, what's that word called? It's prime. So I can't do anything more. So it actually won't even simplify. Okay. Now I want to tell you two things. Highlight that answer. And off to the side, I want you to write exact. That is an exact, perfect answer, okay? And then we're going to go 3 digits past the decimal. You never, ever, ever write your answer in decimal form unless what? Finish my sentence. Unless they tell you to. Good. Okay, everybody go to that answer, and I want you to add parentheses around the top. If you don't add parentheses around the top, the calculator will not understand what you're trying to say. Okay, so everybody go parenthesis 1 plus second x squared 85. Now listen, you have to close off the 85, so close once. Then you have to close off the what? What's the next close? The whole, not the whole problem, the whole top. Yep, so close. Divided by 6, hit enter, okay? We're going to go 3 digits, so I want you to go x equals 1.703. Now, I'm going to show you a trick. Don't touch your calculator. Don't clear it. I'm going to show you a trick. There are 2 answers, right? There are 2 answers because you've got the plus and the minus, okay? So everybody do this. Hit up one time. This up arrow right here. See that up arrow? Hit that. And then I want you to hit this right button right there. Right. So now your cursor is right on top of that plus sign, right? Make it a minus. Hit enter. And there's your next number, -1.36. Look at this. -1.3699. 3 digits would be right there. The 9 tells you to go up. So the 69 goes to a 70. So it would look like that. Okay? Who says I understand? Give me some feedback. Raise your hand. Let me see. Okay, great. All right. Question 3. Use the quadratic formula. Write your answer simplified and as a decimal 3 places. So basically what we just did. Okay. Step number 1. Come over here and write these steps. You know what? Actually, just no. You have to have it set to 0 before you begin. Okay. So your A is a 2. Is your B a -5? And your C is a +5. Is that right? No. Your B is in front of the X. So your B is a +5 and your C is a -5. So be careful. Okay? All right. Everybody write X equals. Then go -B. That's -5. Plus or minus the square root of 5 squared. 5 squared is 25. Minus 4 times A, which is 2. Times C, which is a -5, all over 2 times A, that's 2 times 2, which is a 4. See this stuff inside there? We're going to put that in our calculator right now, okay? So everybody go 25 minus 4 parenthesis, 2, close it, new parenthesis, -5, close it, hit enter, and now I want you to write down x equals -5 plus or minus the square root of 65 all over 4. Okay? What do we, yes?
Doesn't it start off as a -5, so once you put it in the equation, it would be +5?
No. You take the value of B, which is a +5. Then you change the sign, -5. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. What do I do now? Somebody talk to me. Simplify what? The 65. Yep, thank you, honey. Okay, write down your 65. So if you go 65 divided by 5, you get 13. So the 65 actually will not simplify. So that right there is your exact answer. Okay? To write it as a decimal, add parentheses around the top. That will help you to put it in your calculator correctly. Okay? So if you were confused on the last one, which I feel like some of you were kind of looking at me like, what are you doing? When I did the decimal stuff, then stick close with me, okay? Parenthesis, -5 plus second x squared, 65. Tell me how many times to close parentheses right there. 2. Thank you. Close. Divide 4, enter. 3 digits, I get x equals 0.766. Let's get the next one. Everybody go up. Right. Make that a minus, hit enter, and you get -3.266, and those are your answers, written as decimals. Okay? Question B. It won't factor, so I'm going to go x equals -b. B's a -4, so -b would be a +4. Do not write this. You guys, I'm begging you, do not write that down. You will mess up. Okay? Instead of writing that, everybody in the room, tell me what to write down. I can't hear you. 16, yes. -4 times A, which is 1, times C, which is a 1. I'm not even going to write times 1 times 1, because multiplying by 1 doesn't change anything. If you want to, that's great, but you don't have to. All over 2 times 1 is a 2. Now, I don't have to put that in my calculator, because I can do that in my head. 16 minus 4 is a 12 over 2. Okay? Raise your hand if you are 100% following this lesson so far. Do a big raise. Okay, great. Tell me what to do now. All of you use your voices. What do we do now? Break down the 12, right? So 12 is 2 times 6. 6 is 2 times 3. So these two 2's come out as a single 2. So you have x equals 4 plus or minus 2 square root of 3 all over 2. Can I simplify this further? Talk to me. Yes, look at the numbers I'm looking at. 4 and 2 and 2. Everybody it has to go into everybody, all those things, which it does. 2 goes into 4 2 times, 2 goes into 2 1 time, 2 goes into 2 1 time. Completely acceptable, full credit. Awkward. Dividing by 1 doesn't change anything, so I don't need to write that. Multiplying by 1 doesn't change anything, so I don't need to write that. Okay, so there is your answer. Okay, grab your calculator. Everybody go 2 plus second x squared 3, enter. 3 digits is 3.732. Then go up, right, minus, enter, and you get 0.268, and those are your answers. That's it. Okay, do you still have that 0.268 on your calculator? Who says I've got mine on mine? Raise your hand if you're still on there. Okay, I'm going to show you a trick. Right now, without clearing it, I want you to hit store enter. So I just stored that answer in my calculator. Now I'm going to come back to the original problem, and I'm going to put it in the left-hand side, and I'm going to see if I get a 0. So I'm going to go membar enter x squared minus 4 membar enter plus 1 enter. I got a 0. I just checked my answer. Now I should check the other one as well, but you can check this answer in 15 seconds. That's about how long that took me to do that. And then you walk away from your quiz, if it's a quiz, knowing that you definitely got that right. Okay? Okay, find the x-intercepts and y-intercepts. Okay, so let's set ourselves up down here, okay? So guys, to find the x-intercept, you're going to let y be a 0. So both of these are ordered pairs with y being a 0. To find the y-intercept, you're going to let x be a 0. Let's do question A, and let's do the y-intercept first. Guys, everybody look for a second. If the x is a 0, then this is a 0, and this is a 0. And what do we get? negative 1. That's acceptable, okay? You can totally just look at it and do that, okay? To find the x-intercept, you let y be 0. Everybody go 2x to the second minus x minus 1 equals 0. That doesn't look too tough, and it actually kind of looks like it might factor. So I'm going to try to factor before I go to quadratic, okay? So I'm going to go 2x and plain x. Don't forget your equals 0. 1 and 1 are the only two things that multiply to give me x. Now look at this. I'm trying to subtract to get a 1. So look, I have 2 and 1, which subtract to give me 1. So it totally factors. The biggest sign is the negative, so the negative goes here, and the positive goes there, and it factors. Okay, so I have two x-intercepts. Everybody go x equals, this is review from last time. Set 2x plus 1 equal to 0. The 1 comes over and becomes a negative. Divide by 2. Set x plus 1 equal to 0. I get a 1. So I have two answers. So one of them is negative 1/2 comma 0. The second one is 1 comma 0. And I'm done. Okay, who says gotcha? I'm good with this. Okay, good. Let's do one more. Okay, step number 1. Everybody look at that. Everybody just stop. I don't want anyone to write for a second. I need someone in the room to talk and tell me what the first step on this must be. Say it again. Move your 1 over. You're exactly right. Thank you so much, Miranda. So you have 3x to the second plus x minus 1 equals 0. So you have to get it on one side before you can find these things, okay? So guys, look, if x is a 0, this goes away and this goes away. All I have left is a negative 1, and that's sufficient, okay? You guys, I can look at that thing right now, and I can tell that it is not going to factor. Because it's going to go to a 3 and a 1, and a 1 and a 1, and I'm trying to subtract to get a 1. 3 and 1 don't subtract to give me 1, so it's not going to work. So now I know I do quadratic, okay? So everybody go x equals, b is a 1, change your sign, negative 1, plus or minus the square root of 1 squared is 1, minus 4, times a, which is a 3, times c, which is a negative 1, all over 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, now I'm going to grab my calculator and I'm going to put that thing right there in my calculator, just like I see it. Okay, so go 1 minus 4 parenthesis 3, close it, new parenthesis negative 1, close it, enter, and I get 13. So I get x equals negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 13 over 6. Should I write this as a decimal? Somebody tell me that. No, why not? They didn't tell me to. Do not do it. Once you write it as a decimal, you've ruined it. It's not a good answer. It's not a perfect answer anymore. So don't ruin it unless they tell you. So I'm going to write it like this. Negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 13 all over 6, comma, 0, and that's my answer. Okay?